On today's show, I think the Spurs are the best team in the NBA.
Oh.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
And welcome to your Locked On NBA Game Night. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of Locked On Mavericks podcast, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being every day or making Locked On NBA your first listen. Joining me, as always, from Locked On Bucks. What'd you see in the NBA tonight, Camille Davis?
Boy, was that first game fun. It made me get excited for playoff basketball already. And it's only February. I'm ready for it. I am ready.
One of the problems with the NBA is it used to be just like everybody would pay attention to one game a night. Now it's like we can see all the games at once. Like this game, there have been a bunch of games like this all year. And we don't talk about these ones. We just talk about the terrible ones. One great game, two kind of terrible games that we'll talk about tonight. The Kings do get their win. They break their 16-game losing streak. The Rockets get another win. We'll talk about both of those games. But let's start here, Camille. The Spurs get a win against the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons, best record in the East. They have the third best record in the NBA, but the Spurs, the second best record in the NBA. They get a win. Let's hear from our guy, Jeff Garcia, on how the Spurs got this win.
Garcia here, Locked On Spurs. Spurs pick up a tremendous, huge, underline that word, huge win on the road, beating the East leading Detroit Pistons 114-103. Solid win overall. All right, so what stood out for me? What were the big reasons why Spurs got this W? First thing I want to bring out is that everybody ate. Yes, everybody ate. 14 field goal attempts by Vassell, 12 field goal attempts by Champagnie, 16 by Wemby, 17 by Fox. You see where I'm going with this, right? 16 by Stephon Castle. 11, just everybody shared the ball. That's number one for me. Everybody ate. Everybody shared the ball. It wasn't just another dominant performance by Victor and then everybody else. No, Victor did his damage despite an off-shooting night. He finished with 21 points and 17 rebounds in 35 minutes. But it was the fact that this team showed their complete balance, not just offensively, but defensively. More on that later. But offensively, everybody ate. It wasn't a one-man show. Everybody contributed, led by Devin Vassell, 28 points in 36 minutes. So that's what stood out for me, sharing the ball, and everybody got touches.
Absolutely. That's the thing to me that stood out. And one of the reasons why I think the Spurs are the best team in the NBA right now is because it's not just all on Victor to try and get everything done. So many of these teams right now, like the Pistons, are so reliant on your one star to just get everything done, or at least like if he doesn't eat enough, then everybody else can't eat at all, basically, right? Like I watched the Lakers the other night, and you're like, they got three guys that if all three of those guys at the same time basically don't get it done, then nobody else does. And watching this team, Vassell, hit the same amount of threes as the entire Pistons team. Watching Stephon Castle get 16 and 11. Watch De'Aaron Fox, 10 points, seven assists, but 4 of 17 from the field, and it didn't matter. They didn't need that all from him. Like their depth really stood out in a game like this, Camille.
Because here's the thing. The Spurs have enough guys on the roster where they're not one-dimensional. These are guys who can affect the games in many ways. Like you mentioned that De'Aaron Fox had an off night shooting, 10 points on 17 shots. You're like, not the greatest night, but 7 assists and 7 rebounds on top of that too, where it's like he's also making sure that he's hitting the glass. He was the second leading rebounder for the Spurs in this game behind Victor Wembanyama. And I'm not sure how many people would have thought that De'Aaron Fox would be the second leading rebounder on the team. Then you have Castle, who is, boy, when he gets into the paint, the touch around the rim is crazy, but also the defense. He frustrated Cade to no end in this game. Like you just have guys who are doing it in all different ways, and they're doing it as a team. Like you mentioned how everyone was eating. Everyone was eating. Jeff mentioned everybody's eating. Yeah. And I also love like the shot attempts. Like it's not like any of the starters can look back and be like, well, the ball didn't come my way. Like the ball was moving for this team. 32 assists on 42 shots. Like
Wow.
The Spurs they just play a great brand of basketball. They're not scared of anyone. They don't back down from physicality, and they don't get knocked off their own square. They don't try to be someone else than who they are, despite whatever else is going on around them. And to me, for them being a young team, that's the most impressive part of it all.
They didn't back down to the Pistons' physicality. Like the flow of the game kind of went like this. The Spurs started out of the gate like running out of the blocks.
Yep.
Vassell had 3 straight threes. It was a 9-2 game to start the game in the first like 2 minutes of this game. Then it was 14-2 after 14-2 after Victor Wembanyama hit a 3 that was just this massive, and he was turning away everything at the rim. The Pistons just couldn't get any offense going at all. I think Detroit had to call a timeout right there. And you're just like, it's an 11-point game already. The Pistons only have 2 points. They can't score at all. And then give credit to the Pistons. They fought back and they got the lead in that. And they led at the end of the first quarter. They fought back, and it was because of their physicality. Man, every time Wemby came down the floor, he got bumped. He got shoved. He literally pushed a couple times. But they were just saying, especially Jalen Duren. Like Jalen Duren looks at it as like, hey, you may be a foot taller than me, but I am like a foot thicker than you. I'm just gonna like ram my big shoulders right into the side of you, and you're gonna feel me. And everybody on the Spurs could definitely tell they got that directive.
Absolutely. I text you during the game too. I was like, man, JD, he's playing some defense on Wemby, especially because the refs were letting them play in this game, which I know we're talking about a little bit later, but woo boy, people were upset about the Thunder's defense in the playoffs last season. Wait till you see the Detroit Pistons this year in the playoffs.
Well, ain't got nothing on these guys sometimes.
Just get ready for it. But I love the energy that Duren did play with in this game. Like, this was a game where it felt like two heavyweights were just going at it. The fact that Detroit did not fold early on, they continued to fight back. And all the way until like middle of the third quarter, it was just a back and forth affair until the Spurs kind of started to blow it open there halfway through the third quarter. But the Pistons didn't give up. And ironically enough, it feels like maybe some more Ausar Thompson could have helped them out here down the stretch in this game because he did not play too much late into the third, into the fourth quarter for Detroit. And the game where defense was really setting the tone, I feel like Thompson's defense could have made more of an impact too for the team down the stretch.
He also got a really nice bucket right on Wemby. Like as much as people say about his inability to shoot and he cannot shoot, he ran right in and scored in the first half. That was a big bucket that he could have gotten maybe later. And yeah, you mentioned that how he played 17 minutes. Dennis Jenkins off the bench got 21. Karis LeVert got 21. Ron Holland off the bench got 26. Paul Reed got 19 off the bench. Duncan Robinson got 26. Like, you just go through the whole list of guys. Like, I don't know if Sarge should be playing less than all those guys. You mentioned the other turn in this game, that the rest of the flow is it was a back and forth game. It was even, a 2-point game at halftime. And then in the middle of the third quarter, Ron Holland gets a steal. 6 minutes left in the third quarter. He passes it back. He does the unselfish thing and passes it back to Javonte Green. He misses. Victor Wembanyama gets the rebound and then kicks it out. And then he trails, hits a 3. Wemby's first field goal made since the first quarter. He hadn't scored a bunch because they were being so physical with him. But that gave him a 7-point lead. And then very next play after that, Stephon Castle block on Cade Cunningham, takes it the other way and won against Ron Holland. It's a 10-point game. And I felt in that moment, I wrote down, the Spurs are responding to the physicality. They're not just like taking it, they're stepping up and giving it back, because that was a physical play by Steph Castle against Cade Cunningham when he was trying to finish that shot and got that block. And then down to the other end against Ron Holland, who was getting his and ones in transition earlier in the first half too. Steph Castle got his, and then it was a 10-point game, and the Spurs basically never turned back after that.
They did not. And for a second there, when Duren came back in the game and he got that poster on Wemby, I was like, maybe this is like the energy inflection point for Detroit where this helps to turn it around. And I love the way that Duren played from that point forward. After he got that poster, he was just trying to go through Wemby consistently, where it was like, okay, we know that he's affecting the game, but you can't, like, how do we say, you can't shoot around Wemby. You have to try to go through him. And you might get blocked going through him, but that's like the only way to try to really challenge him. And Jalen Duren was making it a point to do so. Like, he was really getting some hustle plays. And I thought maybe this can help spark the Pistons, but the Spurs continue to have answers for them throughout the rest of, like, from that stretch forward. So shout out to Duren for like the effort there, because on the night where Cade Cunningham did not have it offensively, he was trying to come through and give them the energy to try to re-spark them. But as you said, the Spurs were ready for the moment and they're ready to match that energy. And they did, and they closed this game too, which to your point about are the Spurs the best team? Boy, they are playing such connected brand of basketball. Like you look at the Thunder because they're defending champs, what they've been doing, but they have been hurt. So it's like, and then the Spurs have beat them too. So
4-1.
So
the Spurs have the third best record in the league. They've won 9 straight games now. They're a game and a half back on Detroit. They're 2.5 back from OKC with a tiebreaker against OKC, which matters. The Pistons one doesn't matter as much, but the Thunder one does. And you look at that and you're like, all right, they play Detroit again on March 5th, so we get to redo this one and see about it again. The Spurs also are 10-4 without Victor Wembanyama this season. They've brought him off the bench. They've started him. They've been without him. They've still proven that they can win. Coming up, the Pistons still have some more to prove in this NBA season. Let's hear from Kuka Hill and talk about the Pistons side of it coming up next. Locked On NBA Game Night continues. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night brought to you by Indeed. Workplace chaos, like the Pistons defense sometimes. Deadlines stacking up, inboxes overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open. They still have to fill another playmaking spot. When the pressure is on you, you need to make the right hire. That's why you need Indeed sponsored jobs. Indeed sponsored jobs helps you reach the right people so you actually fit what you need and what you're looking for with skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your posting it on all different kinds of places. You know that you're targeting. They're trying to target you. You try to target them. Here's a stat that says it all. The minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time, use Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help your job get the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Go there right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Also brought to you by Wayfair. They got just what you need. I've used Wayfair for so many different things, and it's a new year, and I need a new refresh. I just recently got a whole bunch of stuff from Wayfair for my backyard. Got string lights, got a hammock, got a whole bunch of stuff for the backyard. It's feeling great. Got some good weather here in Texas until that goes away. But I've used Wayfair because I love that they have free shipping right to my place. I don't have to worry about going to a big box store trying to get it all back home, figure all that stuff out. I can get it, put it together. I kind of like the putting it together part. So you get to do all that as well. You can pick all new different stuff. They have everything you need for a full home refresh all in one place. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, or upgrading your work from home setup, Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find exactly what works for your style and budget. They have like so many deals all the time. I'm going on Wayfair and they're like 70% off this, 60% off this. I'm like, when are you ever selling anything full price, Wayfair? Get organized, refresh, and back on track this new year for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA Game Night. Being part of the show, listening every single day. We have the Everydayer Club that you can join. If you want ad-free episodes of this show, Locked On Mavs, Locked On Bucks, Locked On Spurs, Locked On Pistons, Locked On everybody, you can do that. You can go LockedOnPodcast.com/Everydayer Club, or you can do LockedOnMavericks.supercast.com, LockedOnBucks.supercast.com. You get ad-free episodes as well as the Discord, all that kind of stuff. Check it out to get the Everydayer Club. All right, we're talking about the Pistons and the Spurs. An incredible game. Deserves two mentions here. Let's hear from our guy Kuka Hill on how the Pistons fell in this one despite a really hard-fought game.
The Pistons lose this one to the San Antonio Spurs. Host of Locked On Pistons podcast, Kuka Hill here. Victor Wembanyama completely dominated this game in a way that I don't think I've ever seen another player dominate a game. Just completely, he could have shot 0 of 30 in this game and just completely dominated it. The Pistons were terrified to go up with anything around the basket. It led to turnovers, it led to blocks, it led to shots that we've never seen them actually take before. They couldn't hit any shots, and the Spurs were hot from deep. So it was a low-scoring game, but when you can't hit your shots and you're allowing Victor Wembanyama to just completely alter literally everything that's in the paint, seeing this in person, it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Cade had a terrible, terrible shooting night. If he's not going to be able to hit shots and Wemby's doing that in the paint, it's just like, it's a recipe for disaster. Only thing I'll say else here, Ausar Thompson played 4 minutes in the second half. I'm getting close to the point. The front office can say how much they love Ausar. and how much we see it, how impactful he is. If JB Biggerstaff is going to continue to over and 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 over again do this kind of thing with him, and we have another replication of what happened last year in the playoffs where he said something and ended up losing a game because of it, then I'd rather them just trade him in the offseason than continue to do with this.
Oh, Q with the heat as always. The heat in the snow and slush covered streets of Detroit that he's trudging through. You can hear every step he was taking on those streets. Do you agree that their use of Ausar Thompson, you mentioned it in the first part, that their use of Ausar Thompson was wrong and that they needed to play him in the second half?
Yeah, I was surprised that they went away from him for as much as they did. Like, yes, the Spurs did put Wemby on Thompson throughout the game, where it's like, okay, we know that that's the preferred method for the Spurs. You try to hide Wemby on somebody who's a non-shooter so he can help off, be a roamer, so on and so forth. But the Pistons were actually doing a really good job of keeping Ausar involved in the actions, bringing him up to be the screener. So you're putting Wemby into action so he can't just be the help side defender there. I'm not exactly sure. I have to go back and watch like what happened to get him pulled in this game for Thompson, but I was shocked to see him down the stretch, like just not be in the game, especially because Detroit was doing such a good job throughout the game of using their defense to create offense, which is what they tend to do. Like, we know they're not a great 3-point shooting team. And while the Spurs were able to continuously knock down shots, as you said, Vassell had as many made threes as the entire Pistons team. But the Pistons were able to stay connected because they lived in the paint. They were plus 18 in points in the paint. And they did the most that they could off of Spurs turnovers. They were plus 8 in points scored off turnovers in comparison to the Spurs. They had 21 points off of 16 Spurs turnovers. So it's like, if you're using your defense to create offense, why would you not have one of your best defenders on a defensive first team out there?
Ausar Thompson has played how many games do you think he's played 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes in the second half this season? Less than 10 minutes. Counting this one because he played 4.
Let's say
he played
7.
under 4 in this one.
Let's say 7.
12.
Oh my God. See, 7 was too many. 12 is way too many.
Plus 4 games where he played 10 minutes. Like, he is not play. Q is right. He has done this over and over again. And so that's definitely something to watch for the Pistons. I got to talk about Cade Cunningham because 5 of 26 from the field. 10 assists though. 3 blocks, 2 steals. I thought his defense was incredibly impactful, especially in the first half of this game, where you just go, man, he did get in foul trouble, had 4 fouls at the beginning of the third quarter, got his 5th foul at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and it did not deter him at all from attempting any kind of block or steal or anything. It didn't change his game in any way, I thought. The thing about Cade Cunningham, as I was watching this game, I was like, I think he's reached like 2008 Kobe status on his own team, where like, we need you to manufacture buckets no matter what. We don't care if you shoot 30% from the field. You've got to come away from this game with 25 points. Like, you just have to in any way, shape, or form. And that was like Kobe, and like, I think it was it 2009 in Game 7 against the Celtics, where he shot 25 times and only made 7 or whatever. But he came away with points, and he got them enough points to get them a win. It felt like this feels like that kind of team because they don't have enough playmakers around him. Like, we know that at this point. They're not going to add another one. They're not going to find another one. This is their team at this point. They got to score in transition. What was the stat I gave you? Half court offense for the Pistons, 65.6 points per 100 possessions. Like, you listening, you may not know like how awful that is. Like, the Spurs was at 90.
And that's tough.
Last in the league is probably like 90, honestly.
Yeah.
65. They have 100 possessions, which is a normal NBA game. They score 30 times in the half court on 100 possessions.
Like, when you sent, my reaction just now was the exact reaction I had in the text message. It just, all I said was yuck. Like, that's just bad half court basketball. And again, in this game where it's 2 of the top defenses in the league, I knew it was going to be a defensive battle. I knew it was going to be, hard fought in that way, but still, to hear offensive half court rating that putrid is crazy. But Cade does carry a lot of the load. And I don't come away from this game of like, oh, well, Cade ain't really got it. Or I believe in Cade Cunningham. Like, this was just a tough game. Every night you're not going to be able to shoot the most efficient night from the field. But the thing about Cade that I love is that, one, he doesn't shy away from it. He's not going to get scared out of taking the shot attempts. He's going to make sure he keeps going at it because, like you said, this team needs him to do it. He was still a creator for others, still found a way to get a double-double, 10 assists in this game. And him playing through the foul trouble, when the Spurs, like they were hunting that man, especially when he got his 5th foul, when he pulled the chair on Castle, when Castle was like searching for contact on the layup attempt, I was like, that's just smart basketball. Like, that's why it was cool to see, like, this is why JB trusts you in the situation to stay in the game with the foul trouble. 1, because the team needs you, but 2, you have earned the trust of the staff and your teammates that, hey, I know the situation. I'm not going to be a liability out here, and I'm going to make sure to continue being impactful as much as I can. And Cade did that. It's just that ultimately what they needed was more points. And unfortunately, the team was not able to generate more points against the Spurs defense.
What's the difference in this game? 11 points. Get 11 more points from Cade. That's literally it. Like that could have won them the game. For as bad as they played everywhere else, they could have won this game if he just hits a couple more shots. 4, 5. Yeah. That's it.
Or if the 3-point shooters on your team hit a couple
do they
more
have 3-point shooters? They have Duncan
Robinson was 3 of 11. Like if you can if you can go 5 of 11, like it changes the math here for you. Like it just changes. Even Ron Howard 1 of 6.
They didn't play Kevin Huerter at all. Are you surprised that he's not getting as much time on there?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily at this point. But if the shooting,
like one guy they added in the trade deadline though
for the shooting, yeah. So it's like, hey, if you continue on, it's like we just got to figure something out. Just throw him out there for a couple minutes and see if he's hot in those minutes, and then go from there. But they still have some time to figure some rotations out and try some things out.
They've got some time. I don't know if they're going to find anybody that can create offense for them. Maybe they find a different way. Getting Isaiah Stewart back probably helps. He was out of this game with the suspension still. Coming up, the Kings get the win. Our own James Hamm from Locked On Kings experienced his first win for the Sacramento Kings as the host of Locked On Kings. We'll hear about how they got that win and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night brought to you by FanDuel. Don't do anything with the Kings on FanDuel. Like I implore you, just anybody listening, don't do anything with the Kings. But if you've ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person, if you're a Kings fan, you can going to the NBA Finals, seeing somebody else by using FanDuel. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future. You'll be automatically entered for a shot to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Flights, tickets, the whole experience is on them. So go check it out. See NBA futures. There's got to be. Okay, we were talking about MVP. Cade Cunningham plus 600 for the MVP. That is not crazy odds for him to win MVP. Victor Wembanyama plus 2,700. That's a little out there. Jokic plus 290. SGA minus 145. But those guys are several games away from missing out on that award. So check out those ones. That's an NBA future you can check out. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future like that. Get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Count it up. Chicken, baby. I think a lot. I'm very smart.
Take that for that.
Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up.
It's Counted Up. We're counting the most interesting, fun things in the NBA. Most interesting, fun things about these 2 last games we're going to talk about. The Kings get the win. They get to light the beam. Shout out to the Sacramento Kings getting a win against a version of the Memphis Grizzlies in some way. But let's hear from our guy, James Hamm, who I am not kidding. When he got hired, it was in the middle of this streak, and he had not seen a win for the Sacramento Kings since he has become the host.
Sorry, tankers out there. You can't lose them all. I am James Hamm, your host of Locked On Kings. The Sacramento Kings found a way to snap their 16-game losing streak tonight in Memphis, 123-114 over the Grizzlies. They had 7 different players scoring double figures, led by Russell Westbrook's 25. Nice night from Russ, especially in the fourth quarter, as he helped close out the game, as did Daquan Plowden. Two-way player, hits a couple of big threes late, scores a career-high tying 19 points. He had 22 and 12 out of Precious Achiuwa. A really nice game out of Max Renaud with 10 points and 13 rebounds, giving him 11 double-doubles on the season to lead all rookies. Nate Clifford had 6 steals, 19 points for DeMar DeRozan. The Kings improved to 13 and 46 on the season.
Ooh.
You can't say improved. You can't say improved to that number. It just feels like Improved.
He knew it too. That's why James had the face he had as he was saying it. I'm like, yeah, it's an improvement.
The last time the Kings got a win, January 16th. 16th was the last time. It's been over a month. And before that, before this losing streak, they actually had a 4-game win streak with wins against the Rockets, the Lakers, the Knicks, and the Wizards. Like, they had a 4-game win streak, which was a while before this. Their 16-game losing streak ends. 16 had only happened 57 times in the history of the NBA. 17 losses in a row had only happened 38 times. So they avoid that, at least for now. They have enough games the rest of the season to match it. I think they have 23 left. Obviously the longest ever, the Detroit Pistons. So we just talked about 28. Sixers also had 28. They got an early fourth quarter run. They built up a 13-point lead. They basically never looked back. And I say a version of the Grizzlies. There are players on the Grizzlies we had not heard of, and it is our job to cover the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were some surprises on the floor for Memphis, but one thing that surprised me in a positive way for Memphis was the stretch that Scottie Pippen Jr. had, where he had 4 steals in a row, like back to back possessions. I don't think I've ever seen quite anything like that before, but it just was one of those nights for the Grizzlies where just not a lot happened. Like I mentioned Scottie Pippen, but he finished 0-8 from the field, 7 turnovers himself. So he had to get the 4 steals back. He had to try to make it up somehow. But yeah, Memphis is just in this state right now where we know what they're doing, and morale is what it is. Like the Grizzlies have now lost 6 of their last 7, 13 of their last 15 games. Like this was a tank off game for sure.
We know what's happening. They've traded guys. Ja's not playing.
Yep.
We know what this all is. My question though revolves around the Beam is a fan account on Twitter that's on February 20th in the midst of this 16-game losing streak said it's been a great run, Sacramento, and that was the last time they had tweeted. Tonight, the Sacramento Kings account quote tweeted it and said, "Not so fast. Need you to clock in tonight, big fella." My question is,
Count it up.
Camille, the Kings have 23 more games. How many more times will they light the beam this year?
3
more
times. 3 out of the 23.
3 and 20 to end the season.
They got to keep make sure they check the batteries, because I'm not sure
Here's the thing, though.
Beam is.
I'm gonna go. Okay, let me go over under 3.5 though. You're going. Would you take the under?
That's a tough under to take, but yeah, I'm gonna take that under. Under.
I'll go over because they have the second easiest schedule in the NBA to end. They play Indiana, Brooklyn twice, the Pelicans twice, Utah, Dallas, and Chicago.
Those games are going to be competitive for reasons that they should not be.
Absolutely. The Mavs Kings game will be very, very different than the play-in game they played last year. Last game of the night, the Jazz got beat by the Houston Rockets. Rockets get a 25-point win. Let's hear from our guy. Actually, hold on. Do we want to hear from Joe Mullinax on Locked On Grizzlies about losing to the?
Actually, why not?
About losing to the Kings? I forgot about Joe. Sorry, Joe.
Why not? Come on, Joe. What you got?
You don't want to be the team that ends the Kings' 16-game loser, but here we are.
That was a basketball game that happened in the National Basketball Association. Let's just, after this short, agree to never mention it ever again.
Okay.
I'm Joe Mullinax of Locked On Grizzlies, and in Memphis on Monday night, a professional basketball game occurred between the Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings. No disrespect to the professionals that were on the floor. They obviously have earned the opportunity to call themselves professional basketball players. It's the organizations responsible for the tanktastic tilt that we were exposed to in Memphis on Monday. You have a Grizzlies team without a legitimate big man, a true center who was completely and totally abused by the Sacramento Kings in and around the paint and on the glass. That was the deciding factor in this contest. The Kings had more talent, Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, more experience than the Grizzlies, but Memphis needs a legitimate big, not because they're trying to win, but because they're trying to at least compete and allow the young players they do have the chance to be at their best.
And I'm going to honor Joe by not ever mentioning that game ever again.
It's done.
The Houston Rockets beat the Utah Jazz by 20 in this one. And let's hear from our guy, Jackson Gatlin, on how the Rockets came away with this win. How did they do it, Jackson?
Rockets get the blowout win against the Utah Jazz, 125-105, behind 31 points from Jabari Smith Jr. and 12 dimes from Kevin Durant. What's up? This is Jackson Gatlin, host of Locked On Rockets. And Jabari Smith Jr., have yourself a game, man. This was a fantastic performance from him. He caught fire early, stayed hot all throughout the game, 12 of 17 shooting overall, 6 of 11 from downtown. And this is a really important stretch for Jabari Smith Jr. with some of the drama surrounding the Rockets, the burner allegations with Kevin Durant, and Jabari Smith Jr. being on the receiving end of some of that internal strife. His response and his play post All-Star break has been very encouraging. And then Kevin Durant with 12 dimes really was surgical in how he was facilitating and trying to get his teammates involved in this game. A lot of other key contributors in this one. Amin Thompson with 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Alperen Sengun with 16, 9 and 9. He got 15 points from Reed Shepherd off the bench.
I'm done when Jackson just starts reading the box score. I'm done there with that. I don't want to talk about the Rockets at all. What I want to talk about is the Utah Jazz, because earlier today, Chris Haynes reported that Utah Jazz starting center Nurkic will undergo a surgical procedure on his nose Wednesday and will sideline him for the remainder of the season. So another Jazz goes down. Nose procedure. My question is, am I insensitive or uneducated, or did the Jazz just sit Nurkic for the rest of the season for a nose job?
Well, apparently, the reason for the nose surgery is because it was broken before and he's had problems with it since. So they figured, hey, why wait until the off season? Let's go ahead and get this done now, because clearly our method of what we were doing before of playing guys until the fourth quarter is no longer acceptable.
Yeah,
so hey, go ahead and start your off season rehab now. Just go ahead, big fella, do it now. Do it now. So as someone who's had sinus problems and had sinus surgeries, they won't keep you out for a season. They shouldn't keep you out for rest of a season. They won't keep you out for that long. So shout out to the Jazz for finding ways. Shout out to the Jazz for finding ways.
Will Hardy did say after the game or before the game, whatever, he's had a really bad deviated septum in his nose. He has gotten it hit in the face 4 or 5 times this year. His recent sickness has pushed that forward. It's something that needed to get done for a while now. So we're going to get taken care of it. So might as well. No reason to push through it with the mask or anything. Like, just get the nose job done.
That's not an outpatient surgery either. That you gotta go under the knife for that one. So hey, do what you got to do, Jazz. I see. We all see it though. We know the why. But hey, you?
And we're not allowed to say it because of who our boss is. We're not. They're holding us hostage here. I can't say anything about the fine. I can't say that they're holding. If anybody's listening, still, that just help us in some way. This guy you can't say anything bad about the Jazz ever,
because it's a personal affront at that point. So listen, guys, you guys know it. We know it. They know it. The league knows it. Nurkic knows it. The doctor's performing on his nose knows it.
It's called Locked On. It's called Locked On. We can't say anything bad about the Jazz. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA Game Night. We've been here. Go check out Locked On Mavericks.supercast.com, Locked On Bucks.supercast.com. All those you can find for the Everydayer Club. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On NBA. Boom!